By Greg Heffer, political reporter. The Scottish and Welsh governments are continuing to warn they will refuse to consent to Theresa May's key Brexit legislation. Representatives of the devolved administrations welcomed the results of a meeting with the Prime Minister's de facto deputy Damien Green on Monday, but told the UK government it still faces opposition to the EU withdrawal bill. Mr. Green hailed a very constructive and successful meeting of the Joint Ministerial Committee JMC, the first in 8 months, although his claim that accusations of a Westminster power grab had been ended by the talks were rejected by both Scottish and Welsh ministers. Devolved governments have expressed fears the EU withdrawal bill, which aims to replicate EU legislation into UK law in time for Brexit, will water down their powers. Mr. Green said afterwards that talk of a power grab is now behind us. Suggestions of a power grab stem from the bill's intent for Westminster to retain powers taken from EU law before deciding on devolving them at a later date. Although the failure of devolved parliaments to consent to the bill would not represent a veto over the Brexit process, the UK government has been warned failure to reach an agreement could spark a constitutional crisis. Speaking after Monday's meeting, the Scottish government's Brexit minister Michael Russell revealed he will remain unable to recommend the Scottish Parliament consent to the EU withdrawal bill as currently drafted. But Mr. Russell did add some progress had been made over the agreement on general principles on the post-Brexit UK framework. A 3-page communiqué released after the JMC meeting revealed the principles agreed on common frameworks after Brexit will lead to a significant increase in decision-making powers for the devolved administrations. Brexit Secretary David Davis was also at the meeting. The Welsh government also revealed its continued opposition to the bill, despite Finance Secretary Mark Drakeford praising Monday's constructive meeting. "We agreed the principles that will underline any frameworks, but that doesn't mean that we have stepped back at all from our opposition to the bill," he said. In his own assessment, Mr. Green, who was joined at the meeting by Brexit Secretary David Davis, suggested the discussions had cooled talk of devolved administrations losing powers. "I think you will see from principles that we have agreed today that talk of a power grab is now behind us," he said. The JMC will meet again before Christmas.